Hey y'all, Rick Sky here. Welcome back to another Timepieces for Tomorrow video. And within this video I want to talk about, actually it was Jaden on a Timepieces for Tomorrow live show, and he was asking how would you compare the Tudor Black Bay Chrono, so this is the Tudor Black Bay Chrono, to a Submariner from a wearability perspective. So I was able to address some of his questions, part of his question rather, during my live stream, but because I don't, at least at the time of filming this, I don't have a secondary camera, I wasn't able to take that secondary camera and really showcase the differences. I felt that I owed Jaden this, and Jaden, I appreciate your viewership, and that goes for everyone that's watching this. If you have questions, just ask, and I'll try to answer. But let's go ahead and flip over to my other camera now. And again, I couldn't use this in the live stream, but you know, it is what it is. So, you know, be sure to support my channel, subscribe, super chat if you want to, become a channel member, help me grow, because I definitely need to get more equipment for the channel. But let's go ahead and flip over here, and I'm going to show you some differences here. So this is the Tudor Black Bay Chrono on my wrist. Now this is the inverted panda. Whether you go with the inverted panda, reverse panda like I have, or the panda, which is the white primary dial, and black subdials, doesn't matter. It's the same size, same wristwatch, just different visuals. So as far as wearability is concerned, you can see on my 7.5-inch wrist, there is the Tudor Black Bay Chrono. And you can see the bracelet is very comfortable. I like to size my bracelets. I like to put, I call it the little pinky test. So I can put my pinky in there, and that's the amount of room I want. So the bracelet, obviously this is an oyster style bracelet. The case height, although taller than the Submariner, and I'll hold them side by side here so you can see. And we'll do, I'm going to do a better representation of that, but you can see side by side well, it's kind of hard to see there. Let's just take this off. So you can see on the wrist, this is very comfortable. You can see that it's comfortable. Until you put it on your wrist, you can't really appreciate how comfortable it feels. So, you know, looking at the deployant clasp, you're going to look at the Tudor and it's like, man, that feels, you know, on my wrist, it feels pretty much identical to the Rolex deployant clasp. I mean, the inside of these, you can see they're kind of they're a smooth stainless steel, so it feels good against the inner part of your wrist. You know, that's the same situation here with this. It's very smooth, feels very good on the inside of your wrist. Both of these are oyster style bracelets. You can see they glide along your wrist. They're very comfortable. That's the Tudor oyster style bracelet. This, of course, is the Rolex Submariner oyster style bracelet. Something worth mentioning, though, you can see the taper where it's larger when it's at the case versus when it comes to the end where the clasp is. The taper of the Submariner is much more pronounced than the taper of the Tudor Black Bay Chrono. So it is worth mentioning, on the wrist side, you're going to feel this is going to be thinner on the wrist side because of the taper. So, and these are tool watches. People are like, man, why are you just letting that slide around your desk? Because they're tool watches, man. They're meant to be worn. So you can see the taper is more pronounced. The Tudor bracelet is a little bit wider. So, you know, it's a little bit wider on the bottom of your wrist. This particular Submariner reference, this is a 114060. So this is a 40 millimeter case size. This Tudor Black Bay Chrono is a 41 millimeter. To look at them visually, the way that everything's designed, the Tudor Black Bay Chrono doesn't appear to be much larger. Now, I promised you the side profile view. So here's where you're going to notice the height or the case thickness of the Tudor Black Bay Chrono and the Rolex Submariner. You can see the case height of the Tudor Black Bay Chrono, and I'm not doing any camera tricks or anything here. It is a little bit taller. But what visually makes it look a little bit taller is, see the dome sapphire crystal on the Black Bay Chrono? The Submariner has a flat sapphire crystal. So the appearance, the visual appearance of the dome sapphire crystal, which obviously gives a more old school vintage style look, that also creates the visual effect that it appears to be thicker. But that doesn't impact the wearability, because these on your wrist, look at the case backs. They're oyster style case backs. So on your wrist, these two wristwatches feel very, very similar. Even though the Tudor Black Bay Chrono is a little bit thicker case, it's not that noticeable. As far as the weight's concerned, that's something people were talking about. The Tudor Black Bay Chrono is noticeably a little bit heavier, and neither one of these are heavy, but it's got a little bit more weight to it, a little bit more weight on your wrist. Obviously, since this has screw down pushers and a screw down crown on the 3 o'clock position, you do have, and it hasn't provided any discomfort. I've fitted both of these wristwatches bracelets to my wrist, and they fit perfectly. The pushers and the crown versus the crown and crown guards only hasn't led to any sort of discomfort for me. Both of these will wear exceptionally comfortably. I have no complaints. I can sleep with them. I can wear them in the ocean. I can wear them in the pool. I can wear them in the shower. I can just wear them to the desk, whatever desk I'm at for the day, wherever business takes me. So, both of these are exceptionally comfortable. I have no wearability concerns with either of these, but I do want to mention that if you're going to wear for more formal type occasions, because now a lot of people wear sports watches for formal events, if that's going to be your primary use case, you would want to go with the Submariner. And again, this is nitpicky. You would want to go with the Submariner just because it's a little bit easier to tuck underneath the shirt cuff of a dress shirt. But you may not. I'm getting super nitpicky here, but I'm trying to respond to your question the best that I can. But you can see that is thinner. Again, like I said, my wristwatches, I like the little pinky. I like enough room for my pinky. Now, as far as comfort's concerned, it is worth mentioning this reference Submariner at least has a glide lock mechanism. So you can see I could make micro adjustments if I wanted to, adjust it without using tools. I don't have any desire to do that because I've fitted it just like I want it to be on my wrist. Now, if I eat a lot or drink a lot and my wrist size fluctuates, then that would be a handy feature to have. But I try to balance my eating and exercise so that I don't, gain weight in the wrist. But anyway, is what it is. Both of these are very comfortable, very wearable. Again, both are oyster style bracelets. Some people said, "Oh man, the Tudor Black Bay Chrono has, it has faux rivets. It has rivets on the side. Does that make it uncomfortable?" Well, that part of the bracelet doesn't even touch my wrist, and even if it did, these little faux rivets are smooth, so it's not like they would feel uncomfortable on your wrist. Both of these wristwatches, in my opinion, both very comfortable. Again, two completely different wristwatches. This is a chronograph, meaning, well, it's a chronometer and a chronograph. The Submariner is just a chronograph, meaning that it's certified by the COSC to meet or exceed whatever timing requirements. This is also a chronograph, but it's a chronometer as well. I'm sorry, chronograph. You mix these words up: chronograph, and chron. Okay, I just confused myself. So y'all laugh all you want. Chronometer. That means it does not have the stopwatch. Chronometer. But also a chronograph. Chronograph meaning that it has the stopwatch complication. So don't get those terms confused. A lot of watch collectors do. Even me. I've been doing this for over 20 years. So know the difference between a chronograph and a chronometer. Both of these are certified chronometers, but only the Black Bay is a chronograph and a chronometer. And both are very comfortable in the wrist. And again, as I had mentioned during my live stream, and I'm going to do that shot for you with the Submariner too. See that? And let me put the Submariner on and show you the same thing. Both of these are super comfortable, and it's let's see, let me put that on there. So I'm going to put this on. So you can see both have case height, and I'm not doing any camera tricks here. Both have case height, but granted, the Black Bay Chrono is a little bit thicker, but both are very wearable. So if say you've got a a Submariner now, which is pretty common, so you've got a Submariner and you've been looking at these Tudor Black Bay Chronos, I think you're going to feel that it's probably just as comfortable as your Submariner. Now, if you've experienced both and you disagree, comment below. If you agree, comment below. I want to hear your feedback. I'm not a dictator. I'm just sharing my wristwatch opinions, and I would say that, if you're looking to rotate between, a sports watch that has a chronograph complication and a sports watch that does not have a chronograph, this is a perfect duo. So I think you would find both of these to be comfortable. Unless you have a really small wrist and the Submariner is pushing your wearability size, unless you have a super small wrist, I think you're going to find that you can wear these wristwatches pretty much interchangeably and throughout the day not realize that, oh, I'm wearing a chrono or I'm wearing just a standard two-hander, or three-hander, I should say, because it's got the seconds hand. But, I don't know. Y'all tell me what you think and appreciate your viewership. Be sure to subscribe. And let's see, I'm going to flip this little camera thing off here. Be sure to subscribe, and when you do, ring that bell icon, and that'll notify you whenever I post another video. And I'm going to show you right now. So here's a Submariner. This is I got bacon grease on it, man. The Submariner 114060. So to kind of give you an idea of how it looks on the wrist, very comfortable, probably, arguably one of the most comfortable and most iconic wristwatches in the world, wear anywhere, and just a great piece. So there it is, and then I'll flip over to the Tudor Black Bay Chrono, and again, that Submariner, that's the 40 millimeter Submariner. The current reference Submariner is 41 millimeters, and then here's the 40. And it would be interesting if I had access to the 41 millimeter Submariner to do a comparison of it, but that's the Submariner 114060, which is a 40 millimeter, and then here's the 41 millimeter Tudor Black Bay Chrono. So just to kind of give you an idea of how the wristwatches look on at least my wrist, my 7.5-inch wrist. So it's kind of neat, when you can research all day with numbers on paper. You can research all day watching videos on YouTube, but until you try a wristwatch on your wrist, it's really hard to say what is best. And again, in this situation, this is not a question of which one is better. These are two very different pieces. They're very similar from the perspective they both have very great water resistance, but they're very different. If you want to wear a chronograph one day, Tudor Black Bay Chrono. If you want to wear a simple no date, oh, and this has a date too. The Black Bay Chrono also has a date. If you want to wear a non-date, Submariner is probably the best wristwatch in the world if you're just looking for a wear anywhere, fun or business, no date, just simple wind and wear wristwatch. Submariner is probably, but I think as far as a duo is concerned, and a lot of people said, hey man, why did you go with inverted panda or reverse panda instead of the panda? Well, if you research the Tudor Black Bay Chrono, I think you're going to find that if you look at them, the white dial, just visually, the white primary dial, the panda one, is going to wear visually larger than it actually is. So the fact that the primary dial in this reverse panda is black gives it a visual appearance of wearing smaller. And obviously it's just a visual trick. But if you put a white dial, and that's the case with most wristwatches, like if there was a white dial Submariner, then it would visually appear to be larger than the black dial Submariner. So just a little bit of extra wristwatch banter there for you. So again, Jaden, I really appreciate the question, and thanks for tuning in to my live show. I hope this helped, and I hope that it provided a better visual of. It's hard to visualize wearability, but if this helps in any way, just to see these two side by side, and to be able to better visualize how it's probably going to feel on your wrist. And again, if you want to follow up, if you do get a Tudor Black Bay Chrono, feel free to tune in to my channel, comment, let me know, hey, how did it work out for you? Do you find the Tudor Chrono or do you find the Submariner to be more comfortable? After wearing them, which one do you feel is more comfortable? Comment below, tell me what you think. And be sure to subscribe, youtube.com/IRixGuy. And check out my Timepieces for Tomorrow merchandise, like this t-shirt. I've got sweatshirts, I've got stickers, I've got all kinds of good stuff, pint glasses, coffee mugs, and more. Thanks for your viewership and your support, and y'all have a good day. Hey y'all, Captain IRixGuy here. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. If you did, please be sure to subscribe. It's youtube.com/IRixGuy. And ring that bell icon when you do to be notified whenever I post another video. Thanks for your viewership, and y'all have a good day.